talked about, you used a word, sweet spot.
Yeah.
And when you hit that sweet spot, which I think connects very much with what you're talking about here, when there's just that sense of, hey, we did it, or just talk about that, Steve.
Well, sweet spot is that place you enter into that there's fluidity. Mm-hmm. It flows. It's like you can do no wrong, And a sweet spot is an obvious word that's used in a lot in athletics that. Or even in singing, things like that. But in athletics, like with a tennis racket, there's a certain part of the upper middle part of the tennis racket that's a sweet spot. If you hit outside that sweet spot, you lose control of the ball, or you can actually injure your arm.
Right, okay.
If it hits in the wrong spot. But when tennis, I took tennis lessons myself. It's all about positioning your feet. So that where the ball's coming, you position your feet so the racket will be in a place where you hit the sweet spot. And when you hit that sweet spot, you get maximum power and maximum accuracy. And so I was meditating on this a few years ago, and I'd read a few articles similar to it, and I thought, there's a sweet spot in the life rhythm that we live. And I've got a lot of models I'm working on right now of what that sweet spot looks like. But one of them that was presented to me last week was actually from a NFL coach in the United States who coaches football. He's a strength and fitness and conditioning coach. And he talked about players and everything, and how that they can have great ability but not be able to play well. And he said part of it is because maybe they've been on losing teams or had a series of bad games, and they get into a bad spiral.
Yeah.
And he said, but if you can pull four things together, and he didn't say sweet spot, but I saw it in what he was saying. He talked about ability. You've got to have some ability, and everyone is given something from God. You've got to have motivation, though, to use that ability. And this is where a lot of people get demotivated. Stuff happens, difficulty, challenges, and rather than rising above it, and everyone reacts to difficulty. We all have problems.
Yeah.
You get a gut punch now and then, and you're out of breath. I understand that. I get that. But when you get your breath back, there's got to be a way to trigger understanding, to create motivation that this is not going to bring me down. Mm-hmm. I'm going to rise out of this situation. I'm going to do what God's called me to be. The enemy will not win in this situation. And so motivation is important. Opportunity was another part of that foursome. So you got your ability or your what God's given you and your talent. You've got this whole thing of motivation, opportunity falls into that, and then finally experience. And the funny thing about opportunity is, I think everyone has opportunity in front of them. Opportunity swirls around our lives, kind of like the solar system. Mm-hmm. Right now, Jupiter is very visible in the United States because of where it is. You can see it really bright in the morning. It's come around. It will not come back around, I think, for another 200 years or something.
Wow.
Opportunity, fortunately, comes around quicker than that. And it rotates around your life. And the key to making opportunity work is doing preparation. And that's the final one, is experience.
Right.
That as you gain experience, you get preparation, you are ready so that when that opportunity does swing around again, you're able to jump on it. Mm. And, when those four, if like cylinders in a car, if those four cylinders are firing, you've hit the sweet spot. And you find out that when you enter that place, you get into a rhythm and a fluidity that causes it's like getting on an escalator or something. There's acceleration to what you're already doing. It's the assistance of what God has given you, and then just the favor and the blessing of God that comes on you. You can compress 5 years into one.
Wow.
By what you do. Now, we all fall in and out of those sweet spots because of situations in life, but the goal should be, and in a sense, Trevor, that sweet spot, that place in the middle, is a place of great joy, great fulfillment, great peace. It is called, another word for the sweet spot would be the kingdom of heaven.
Wonderful.
It's the garden of God.
Yeah.
It's a utopian kind of a feel. It's a taste of heaven on earth.
Wow.
And I love it when I get into that place.
Yes.
Because anything can happen.
Don't we all?
Yes.